Okay, so everybody should have a new index file and a new JavaScript file set up for a program today. We're ready? All right, let's quickly recap what we talked about last day and then we'll get into some new stuff. So what we're doing yesterday, drawing circles. That's right, we were drawing circles using a function. Which function were we using? Ellipse. Yes, ellipse. Not the circle function, but the ellipse function. And you can see in my code here, I've got 3 ellipses. I am just going to compile my code. Here it goes. All right, and I've got 3 circles of varying sizes here on my canvas. Remind me quick, what do the 3 values or parameters inside the ellipse function do? First one is the x value, good, the side-to-side measurement. So for example, this first circle is going to be 100 pixels away from the right-hand or the left-hand side of the screen. That's right. Second one is the y parameter. Good. So that's how far down from the top the circle is going to be. And the last one is the radius. Good. And what's the radius? The radius is no, it's not the distance across the circle. It's the distance halfway across the circle. Good. So this first circle has a radius or distance halfway across of 50 pixels. And you can see the circles keep getting bigger. All right. So today we are going to talk about variables. Variables are essentially digital containers that we can put things into. We can manipulate them, we can take them out, we can replace them, and they end up being really useful, and we can do some really fun things with them in our programs. So first we're going to create a variable here, and I'm going to create a variable in between my setup and draw functions. There's a reason for me doing this we won't get into now, but I'm going to create it right here. I'm going to call it y. I'd like to create my variable called y. And so I'm going to type var, put a space. That signals to my program that I'd like to create a variable. Now I need to give the variable a name, and as I said before, I'd like to call this variable y. Okay, so I've just created a container called y that I can put things into and take things out of, and I'll end my line of code with a semicolon there. Right now it's an empty container. It's not really doing much. I haven't really used it yet. And so I need to actually give y a value, put something into the container so that I can use it. If I don't put something into the container and I try to use it, our program is going to freak out and not work the way we want it to. So to initialize this value, or to give variable y a value, I'm going to go equals, and I'll say 200. So I'm going to take that container and I'm going to put the value 200 inside of it. We can do something kind of cool now. We can go back to our ellipse functions, and anywhere we see the value 200, we can actually replace it with y. Okay, so in my program, I've called on that container y, and I've told the program whatever value y is at, use that as the y parameter for my circles. So I'm going to save my program here. Let's compile, and absolutely nothing happens, which is exactly what we wanted, right? Before, all of these values were 200. All we did was to create a variable, initialize it or fill the container with the value 200, and then put that value back in here. Now, this is the fun thing. If I want to change the position of these circles, I mean, I could go through every single one and type it in, but I can also, by using a variable, move them all up like this. If I change the y variable to 100, look what happens now. They all move up, right? And if I choose maybe 300, all right, I can move them down, and I can move them all at once. This is a very efficient way of getting things done. So I'm going to put them back up at the top of the screen. All right, and we're going to play around with this concept today. Another really fun thing you can do, though, is you can manipulate variables inside the draw function. So if I tell all of these ellipses to take that y value, I can play a bit of a trick on them, and I can change the y value the next time the program compiles. So the first time through the draw function, it's going to take 100 or y as its value. All right, y is filled in with 100. The second time through, I'm going to set y to something else. Instead of setting y to 100, I'm going to set y equal to whatever y was before plus 5. All right, effectively increasing the value of that variable, or the value stored in that variable, by 5. Let's see what happens when we do that. Whoa, yeah, right. That was kind of cool. Right? Let's try it again. Good. So what's happening here? We've got the variable starting at 100, and it increases by 5, which causes things to move down the screen. And that's what we'll work with today.